This stuff, I know for a fact, hurts because I've experimented with myself. You want to mix really loud, this is what I do. It's not a very technical drawing, but it's a generality.
And then, Dave, you're EQing on the individual channels.
And then I EQ, like, if necessary. I'm not afraid to turn stuff up and down, -15. Well, I don't boost a lot of anything. I don't boost anything on the system, and I don't boost a lot of things. I cut, and I cut, and I cut. And that's basically how I do it.
And Alex Van Halen's snare drum?
It sounds like that when he hits it. That's the way it sounds.
That's the sound.
Just like Eddie's touch was his sound.
Eddie's whatever comes out of Eddie's amp came out of his amp, right?
It sounds like him. I just make it louder. Like I said, nobody comes to the show because I'm mixing. And Mick Mars was the loudest guitar that I ever mixed.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, I just remembered that.
Mick
Who's
Mars.
the loudest drummer that you ever mixed?
Playing wise, or because of their monitors?
Playing wise.
I mean, it's all, Alex hit the drums pretty good. So does Vinny. Vinny can get right up there.
Oh, yeah. So Dave forgot to mention one thing. Dave?
I mix in mono.
And you mix in mono so that everyone hears the same thing.
Everybody hears the same thing. Everybody paid the same amount ish.
Yeah.
Everybody should hear the same thing. If the biggest fan of this guitar player is sitting over here and I pan that guitar player over here, he spent all this money for a ticket and he doesn't hear his favorite guitar player. So I mix in mono. Stereo, yeah, that's a nice idea for 20 feet wide in the middle of the room, but unfortunately there's a lot of other people here and you should take care of everybody else.
I'm Rick Beato. In today's episode, I interview one of the most influential figures in modern music production history. I'm talking about mixing engineer Bob Clearmountain. With a career spanning decades. Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato. Today my special guest is Matt Cameron. I'm just such a huge fan. Talk about the difference between playing with Soundgarden and with Pearl Jam, and do you do anything different? Is your approach different?
Well, thank you for the compliments. Right back at you, my friend. Great channel. I think the overall approach to like performing, recording, learning songs, songwriting is essentially the same, with any kind of band I'm playing with or situation that I'm involved with. I think.
Is that something that just came naturally to you, or these things that you, over time, you became really good at?
Well, I think there was an element of a natural ability that I kind of had at a young age. I could play the drums pretty young. It all sort of made sense to me somehow. And then eventually it was just by all the music that I was listening to, being exposed to as a teenager in my formative years, probably has something to do with how I eventually naturally became aware of, just playing in odd time signatures or trying to set up a section of a song that's not in 4/4. Right. I loved like Bill Bruford and Billy Cobham, just some of the great fusion players in the early 70s, late 60s. That was a really huge influence on me. So I think it was just listening early on, and then just playing in neighborhood bands around that time.
Are you taking lessons at the time?
I started taking lessons when I was around 17.
Okay.
After I played in some bands and cover bands, bar bands, things like that. I decided to try to get a little more serious about it. So I took some lessons from a gentleman named John Santo from San Diego. He played in the San Diego Symphony, and he also played with the Harry Partch Ensemble. American composer artist from the early 20th century who made his own instruments.
Absolutely.
He felt like I just wanted to pursue, like just my own, my own music, or like tapping it or hooking up with guys that sort of have their own like idea of what they want to do.
So I want to ask you about the Temple of Dog record. You guys did that where, at London Bridge?
We did that at London Bridge, yes. That was late 89, early 90, I think, is sort of that. It was a very short time frame.
A week that you
it
did
was,
it in?
it was probably like, I just remember like we got together like, 10 days or something, and then we recorded for maybe a week or something like that. So I think, after Andy passed away, that was the reason for the main impetus for us doing the album. Chris had written these songs and sent the demos to Stone and Jeff, and from there we just decided to get together, learn those songs, and more songs just sort of developed from those jams. But yeah, it was pretty quick. Just learning a whole bunch of music, or barely learning it, and then recording it. It was one of those,
What do you think about that? Actually not being rehearsed and just kind of going in.
It sounds really fresh.
Yeah.
And it gives me that same sort of feeling as when I made it. Like, I can fully get behind this. It's like, I listen to that music and it's like, this has so much of me in it and so much of us in it, and it's like, I'm behind this 1,000%. And it still gives me that kind of vibe.
What is your favorite song to play off that? What would be your favorite song? Like when I hear Pushing Forward Back, that I love the groove on that song.
Yeah.
Putting the drums. You never said anything, right?
He said nothing.
That's actually what Kim told me.
He
said
said
Matt that he said that Chris never said anything to you about drums.
Which was so mind-blowing. I think it was partly mutual respect. We both really loved what each of us brought to the table. But I think he just liked what I was doing. Like, he trusted my instincts as a fellow bandmate and musician and songwriter and everything. No, that never really happened. But then again, conversely, like some of his demos had, him playing.
Okay, this is 50 millimeter going 60 miles an hour down the highway at 24 speed. 50 millimeter. It's probably going to be shaky.
Like making sure the part fits the song. That tune.
Okay, this is 60p.
I loved immediately. So that's an example of me playing what he came up with.
Okay, so when he would come with a demo like that, it was on a cassette. Would he play it for the whole band, or would he give you a cassette and say, "Hey, I came up with this song. What do you think?"
Yeah, he would normally like take this home and listen to this.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, okay, everyone sit down, listen to my demo kind of thing.
Yeah.
We were like jamming or learning 10 other things, at the same time. So
you go home, you listen to this, and what would be the first thing you think when you hear that song?
This song rules. Like, this is gonna sound so amazing in our band. It was just that feeling of elation of like, oh my god, I get to play a song this good. That it was always that kind of stuff with his demos. I mean, some of them, not all of them, flew with the band, but it was always a joy to hear what he would bring to the table, and Ben and Kim, and everyone always had a really unique that tune.
Okay, this is 60p.
I loved immediately. So that's an example. And then I've got the power stroke, clear power stroke on the kick, Zildjian cymbals since day one.
Yeah.
I've loved them since I was a teen. Vic First sticks. Yeah, and Yamaha. Yamaha pedals, shells, hardware.
Let's talk about drum
Best.
tuning, because your
Yes.
drums were always tuned really well. And when I think about Super
Not always,
Unknown,
but
okay, on Super Unknown, the drums
Thank
sound phenomenal. The drum
Yeah.
tuning, the toms are massive sounding.
Yeah.
Drum tuning is really an art. How do you learn about drum tuning, and tell me about your taste in drums. Where should drums
gosh.
be tuned? Do you tune
Yeah,
the two
man.
heads the same pitch?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
Boy, good question. This could be a whole YouTube channel episode on just this.
Yep.
This
Well,
one,
go
this
for
one
it.
thing. start it, and other guys can contribute. But for me, man, it's just a taste thing. It's like what I loved growing up hearing records. Like I love Mick Fleetwood's drum sound. I love Steve Gadd's drum sound.
Yes.
You know? I love thing. Sometimes, like if your drums are tuned really high in a hard rock setting like that, that can really add more punch to how the drums are sounding live. So I think for me, it's like I've always relied on, having a good sound man and having my drums maybe down, down a pitch or two. I'm just trying to add to sort of like the mid-range and the low end of the band, especially with Soundgarden. Like the kick and snare tone, I think, helped out with the overall sound of the band. Like that gave a certain tonality to the records, and I was always like, aware of that or conscious of that to try to add some extra notes in there.
Do you think about the type fills you're going to play? Because there's so many signature fills that you have in so many of your big songs. Are there places where you'll say, okay, this is my spot, this needs a big fill here? How do you think about this?
Well, you know what? I normally don't think too much about it once I'm there.
Okay, this is 250. Really slow. Okay, this is a little bit wider. Maybe 35. The previous was 50. Okay, this is a little bit wider. Maybe 35. The previous was 50. Okay, this is a little bit wider. Maybe 35. The previous was 50. Okay, this is a little bit wider. Maybe 35. The previous was 50. Okay, this is a little bit wider. Maybe 35. The previous was 50. My house. Hang on.